The day began ordinary. Coldplay just released an excerpt of their exclusive interview with a European music outlet, a moment that usually only arouses curiosity, not a storm of indignation. But out of nowhere, in less than 15 minutes, the phrase "Chris Martin disrespects Jimin and Jungkook" exploded on social media. Hashtags like "Respect Jimin," "Protect Jungkook," and most prominently, "Chris Martin apologize now," are trending globally. What exactly happened? How could a musician like Chris Martin, who has always been known to be close to BTS and has even collaborated with them on the song My Universe, suddenly be accused of blatantly satirizing two BTS members? We trace its digital footprint. A short 17-second video was the main trigger for this chaos. In the video, Chris Martin is seen chuckling when asked about a possible further collaboration with BTS and mentions something like, "Well, not all of them are musicians in the way we are, you know." Sound familiar? Not if you're an ARMY man. The words are immediately associated with two names, Jimin and Jungkook, who has been known as the main vocalist and mainstay dancer of BTS. Comments started popping up. Does this mean Chris Martin thinks they're not real musicians? Did he underestimate them outright? However, in the midst of the storm of emotions, there is one thing that disturbs deeper. What exactly does the camera not capture? Who edited the piece? Why hasn't the full video been released yet? When the short 17-second video went viral around the world, no one was really ready to see how one sentence could break up two communities previously united in love of music. Coldplay fans who usually live side by side with ARMY suddenly split. Some of them defended Chris Martin, saying that his comments were not aimed at anyone specifically. But ARMY, especially those who have long followed Jimin and Jungkook's struggles since their debuts in 2013, feel there is a hidden cynical tone that cannot be ignored. That on community forums, lengthy discussions arose that dissected every syllable spoken by Chris. They compared his facial expressions in various interviews, matched his voice intonation, and looked back at how he talked about other BTS members in the past. And slowly, a pattern began to form. As if Jimin and Jungkook had never gotten explicit praise from Chris in previous interviews. Is this a clue? Or is it just an illusion formed due to mass indignation? But the awkwardness doesn't stop there. Hours after the video went viral, Coldplay's official account on one of the social media platforms deleted a promotional tweet about the interview. Without explanation, without clarification, as if they knew something was wrong. Or maybe they are preparing something bigger, an official statement, or even an apology. On the other side of the world, the headquarters of HYBE Entertainment, the agency that houses BTS, is also experiencing internal turmoil. An employee who asked to remain anonymous said management had held an emergency meeting regarding the video. They are said to be considering legal steps to protect the good name of their artists if it is proven that there is an element of reputational pollution. But who actually distributed the video? Who first uploaded it to the internet and triggered all this? We managed to track down the account that uploaded it the first time. And surprisingly, the account was only created 2 days before the video was published, had no other previous posts, and used a VPN from a changing location. Is this just a fad fans? Or is there a darker game behind all this? A source in the media industry revealed that the video was originally 46 minutes long and had been sold to several major media outlets, but that editing it down to 17 seconds was the most controversial part. Why is only that part leaked? Why not the whole interview? And the most suspicious, why until now the recording party has not released the full version? In the midst of all that, a quote from Jungkook appeared in a live broadcast made the day before Chris Martin's video went viral. In the live, Jungkook said in a calm, but somewhat bitter tone, "Sometimes the people we admire don't always understand the way we love music." Many fans now believe that Jungkook may have known the comment was coming. But does that mean the comments were indeed directed at him? And if so, why did he choose not to clarify right away? Or maybe he chose to let the time answer. ARMY anger also developed into a form of emotional defense. Thousands of posts about Jimin and Jungkook's career journey began to appear. The video of Jungkook practicing vocals into the early hours of the morning, the footage of Jimin crying because he was not satisfied with his performance, and the moment when the two gained recognition from otherworldly musicians. All were republished as a reminder that they are not just idols, but true artists. But still, one question kept hanging in the air. Why did Chris Martin say that? A few hours later, a surprise appeared in an unexpected form. One of the video editors involved in the production process of the interview, who also asked not to be named, sent a statement to alternative media, revealing that the context of Chris' sentence had actually been omitted. According to him, Chris was defending BTS members when he said the phrase, and the piece was taken from a discussion section about how the Western music world still often underestimates artists from Asia. So is all this just the result of manipulation? Or is there a specific purpose of the video dissemination of the piece? When the editor tried to publish the full version of the video on a streaming site, the page was hacked and disappeared within minutes. Many suspect that there are powerful parties who do not want the original version to spread. And suddenly, the case has become not just a matter of one musician's cynical comments, but has turned into a global narrative war between media, fandom, and industrial power. Meanwhile, thousands of armies from various countries began to prepare for a global digital action. They planned to send mass emails to music label Coldplay, boycott streaming of their songs, and remove the collaboration My Universe from their playlist as a form of protest. But not a few are beginning to feel the strangeness. If it's just about one comment, why is the response as if coordinated? Why does everything feel too fast, too organized? Is there a hidden actor behind this mess? Is it possible that there are parties who deliberately want to pit Coldplay and BTS? Or is this just a classic example of how the world can burn because of just one unfinished sentence? As the debate intensifies, new evidence is beginning to emerge, not in the form of videos or tweets, but in the form of a voice recording accidentally scattered across darker digital forums. The voice sounded like a conversation between several members of the Coldplay production team, and what was even more surprising was that Jimin and Jungkook's names were mentioned very specifically. As the footage began to be shared across various private messaging groups and more stealthy social media, ARMY's reaction was widespread. Many began to wonder, is this all just a coincidence? Or maybe there is something bigger that is being hidden. The recording is not just an ordinary conversation. In it, there was talk about Coldplay's promotional strategy and how they plan to use BTS' big name to launch their wider music campaign. One of the speakers, who appeared to be a senior manager of the Coldplay promotion team, in a fairly clear tone of voice, said, "If we can touch Jimin and Jungkook the way we planned, it will shake the world. We have to make the world see BTS more as a product, not just a music group." When ARMY first listened to the tape, the mood on social media changed dramatically, not only because of concerns about the humiliation of Jimin and Jungkook, but also because there is a sense of betrayal that comes to the fore. Does this mean that Coldplay only sees BTS as a tool for their benefit? Does that mean everything we see in the My Universe collaboration is part of a grand strategy that prioritizes profit over true friendship in music? The dissemination of this footage sparked a deep sense of anger, but it also added an even bigger layer of confusion. While some have called the footage evidence of a conspiracy, others still doubt its authenticity. There are those who argue that the recordings have been manipulated, but there are also those who believe that this is the key to revealing a darker reality. An anonymous source within the Coldplay team confirmed that there was indeed great pressure on the part of management to leverage BTS's fame to the maximum advantage. But does that mean that Chris Martin knew about this? Was he aware that his words would be interpreted in such a painful way for BTS fans? A few days after the tape went viral, Chris Martin finally gave a more detailed official statement. In a lengthy apology video, he clarified that what he meant by the phrase was a criticism of the music industry's frequent disparagement of non-Western artists, not an allusion to Jimin or Jungkook. "I really admire BTS, and especially those two amazing members," he said in a voice full of regret. "What I said does not deserve to be interpreted as such, and I want to apologize to all those who feel hurt, especially the ARMY." However, even if the apology sounds sincere, not everyone can take it for granted. Some fans began to question the authenticity of the statement. How could someone with so much respect for BTS be so fatally wrong in expressing his opinion? Is this apology just a step to defuse the storm? Or is there another, bigger agenda behind it? Most fans felt that this was just Chris Martin's way of protecting himself after seeing how widespread ARMY's anger could no longer be controlled. In the midst of that panic, however, one fact stands out even more. Coldplay and BTS actually have more in common than it seems on the surface. Both are musical groups that have struggled through uncertainty and criticism. Coldplay, despite its huge success, once felt marginalized in a music industry that valued popularity more than the quality of art. BTS, with all the challenges they face as a K-pop group, have proven that they are not just a momentary phenomenon, but a global force influencing the world of music. Jungkook, in a recent live, spoke about how he often feels pressure to meet the expectations of others. But he also stated, "The most important thing is to do what we love and what makes us happy. Music is the way we express our feelings." That sentence, simple yet powerful, seems to be a statement that confirms that BTS will never be affected by outsiders' dismissive views of them. Even in the face of harsh comments like Chris Martin's, they will still stand firm on their principles. On the other hand, after Chris Martin's apology, ARMY showed its more complex reaction. Some began to accept the apology as a form of accountability, while others felt that the apology only came out due to pressure from fans and the media. No one really knows what Chris Martin had in mind, but one thing is certain: the music world has now split, and nothing can ever go back to the way it was. In the midst of this confusion, a theory emerges that further reinforces the conjecture that it is not just about a single comment, but about a great game in the world of music that involves many interests. Some have called it a big partnership that involves not just artists, but also major labels trying to control who gets the media spotlight and who remains marginalized. Is this true? Are the fans of BTS and Coldplay just pawns in this game? Or is this all just the result of a misunderstanding that could have been resolved with better communication? Now, the biggest unanswered question is, who benefits from this fuss? Did Chris Martin really accidentally underestimate Jimin and Jungkook? Or is there a bigger problem that we are not aware of? If you are curious about the continuation of this story, keep reading. We'll uncover more evidence and surprising reactions from artists and fans around the world, as well as an in-depth analysis of what's really going on behind the scenes in this intriguing global music industry. As news of Chris Martin's controversial remarks continues to grow, no one can predict how this will change the dynamic between Coldplay and BTS, two bands that ostensibly live in two separate worlds but are now entangled in one larger event than anyone imagined. And the longer, the more information begins to come to light, although not without consequences. Every little detail that previously seemed unimportant now has an unexpected impact. First, there was a reaction on the part of Coldplay's management, which was very slow and tended to be uncoordinated. Several internal sources revealed that despite major efforts to control the damage caused by the viral video, they felt a sense of tension among the band members. Many felt that Chris Martin was too hasty in making the statement, and that he should have taken a more cautious approach in responding to questions involving BTS. However, no one can deny that this incident opened the eyes of many people, especially in the music industry, to how the power of global fandom, such as ARMY, can change the flow of communication that should be maintained. As time went on, more and more fans dug deeper into the background of the comments. They find out more about Chris Martin's personal relationship with BTS before this incident. Is this just a coincidence, or is there a long-standing tension between the two sides? And if there is, what is the cause? Is it all rooted in the way BTS continues to evolve, while bands like Coldplay feel threatened by their popularity? A number of claims that had circulated among music observers began to give rise to a surprising theory: that Chris Martin accidentally touched a sensitive point in the global music world. BTS, who come from South Korea, have proven that they are not just an Asian musical phenomenon, but also a global force that has changed the way we hear and produce music. And for some, that's what's actually scary. Perhaps Coldplay and other Western artists felt that they had to adapt to the changing times, but not without resistance. In this context, it is possible that the supposedly disparaging comments are actually a reflection of the fear of a new dominance in a more culturally diverse music industry. Not only that, some new speculations have emerged regarding the relationship between Coldplay and BTS after that comment. Some have suggested that their collaboration on the song My Universe was actually a more planned effort, with the goal that Coldplay could establish themselves in the growing Korean music market, while BTS gained exposure in the Western market. However, if it is true that it is a careful business strategy, why did Chris Martin actually make a comment that could damage the relationship? As time went on, an unexpected thing happened. A new video surfaced, which this time showed